All right. This video, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Bless Barakiah Yahweh, Rakar, Kodash. This video is for edification on Revelations. What's the mark of the beast? What's the image? And what's the number of the name? I'm just going to go over all Revelations and give the true breakdown, the only perfect true breakdown. True understanding of the Holy Bible of Revelations 13 chapter. And all right, I'm getting to it. And I stood upon the sand of the sea. So John, the Revelator, stood upon, he girded himself up. Like Daniel said, he stood up to strengthen the king. So the Lord said, arise, for the laws upon thee. The law enter into holy souls and make it them friends and prophets and apostles. Make it them prophets, friends, and make it them friends of the Most High. There's wisdom of God's laws. So the Lord, he stood up, he got understanding of the sand, which is sand represent what? The nation of Israel beyond the sand of the sea. So the sea, and the sea is the doctrines, the flood, the serpent sent out a flood after the woman, the sea. So the understanding of God's laws, statutes, and commandments is to get you the understanding of the sea. The doctrines is coming, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. A beast is talking, the beast is the doctrine of sin. The beast is the doctrine of sin. The beast is the doctrine of sin. This beast is the doctrine of sin. And so the so-called, or the doctrine of sin, having 7 heads. Why is it having 7 heads? Because this beast, the doctrine, is under the 7 heads of where this doctrine come from, which is the 7 heads. The 7 heads are Rome, Greece, Spain, France, Italy, Germany, and United Kingdom. I'm going to say that again. The 7 heads in Revelation 13 is Rome, Greece, Spain, France, Italy, Germany, and Great Britain, United Kingdom. The 7 heads are Rome, Greece, Spain, France, Italy, Germany, and Great Britain. And the 10 horns is the 10 NATO allies, which is the so-called white race ruling. And having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, right? 10 horns. The 10 horns is Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Italy, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, and Portugal. And the 10 horns, I'm going to say it again. The 10 horns is Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, and Portugal. And the reason why he got 10 crowns on his head, because they separate rulerships. They have separate rulership. Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, a crown represents rulership, authority, royalty. And that's where the so-called royals come from. That's the area where, that's because they had their own separate rulership and they seem to be as the royals. So the Lord said what? And upon his heads the name, and upon the heads the names of the name of blasphemy, because they promote that they lands for God, but really they for sin. The so-called white man sinning throughout. They set themselves up as Jesus the Christ, as a righteous figure of God, but they really into sin. What have the wicked to do to declare my statutes? This is what the Holy Scriptures are saying. But they had names of blasphemy because they don't do what's according to God's laws. They speak the Bible but do contrary, which is blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. And the beast is coming from America. That's mainly what this beast, this doctrine of sin at right now, and it's talking about America, because America, the beast is the doctrine that comes forth from America. And the reason why which I saw was like to a leopard. That's leopard is wrong, because America, the 7 head, whose head was wounded but is now healed, because that's the leopard. It took out the Rome, the statue in Daniel 2, the statue of Daniel 2, the head of gold, the arms of brass, the head of gold, the arms of silver, and the stomach of brass, the arms of The leopards is the thighs of brass, and the iron legs and the feet with iron clay. So the Babylonians is the gold head, and the brass is the leopard, which is the four beasts, because the fourth beast is America, and the third one is the empire before America, which is the leopard, which is Rome. Rome. And the beast which I saw was like unto Rome, because it came forth from Rome, and his feet was as the feet of a bear, because that's Media Persian. His feet was as a bear, because these different beasts is different. This a different beast from Revelation 17. This beast is the beast that come forth from the nations, which was during the times of these kingdoms ruling. And now you're in the last of the statue of Daniel 2, which is America, the feet with Murray clay. The beast had bare feet, because the Greeks came out the Caucasus Mountains barefooted. That's the so-called white man. And they was a bear, because that's the bear of Greece. That's 3 ribs in his mouth, was talking about he devoured the 4 corners of the earth, but not into his prosperity. He rose up on one side of the earth, but his kingdom was parted in 3 different ways from his fourth, for the way he rose on the Greeks, which is his feet is like a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which is the Media Persians. That's the lion with the wings, is the Medes and the Persians. And they wings, because it was the Medes with the Persians, and they spoke boastful. I am Xerxes the Great, like a lion. And his right. And the dragon gave him his power, right? And the dragon, which is the so-called white man, gave him his strength. He gave his strength to Wiccans. The Lord said the man of sin, Cain, the so-called the serpent shall go upon thy belly, all low down nature. So when the dragon is the so-called white race, the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, the dragon is the so-called white race. The dragon is the so-called white race, the devil. And they had a rulership to give life unto the beast, unto the doctrine of sin, which is legalizing gay sex. Legalizing gay sex is the doctrine of the beast that come forth from America. And that's abomination according to Leviticus 20:13. A man shall not lie with mankind as he lie with womankind, for all do so are an abomination unto the Lord Yahweh. And his seat and great authority, right? 6/ Great America, a great authority, a great rulership, which is throughout the world, because it's influence throughout the world from America. And a great authority is Babylon the Great. That's where the beast doctrine coming from. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, right? One of the heads was Rome, and it was wounded unto death. It became to fall. It was wounded, that rulership, Rome. Rome began to fall, and as it began to fall, the Most High, the ancient Roman Empire, which is the so-called white race, it began to fall, and then as it began to fail, it was wounded, but not to death. It was wounded to death, but not to die, and it came back in rulership under the American, because things that's in America is based on the Roman Empire, like the Colosseums, is these stadiums that's in America. Basketball, football stadium, baseball, that's the Coliseum, the sporting. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, right? And his deadly wound was healed. That's what it came back into the rulership, which is America. The armed legs was Rome, and the extension of the iron with clay, but they don't mix, because there's different doctrines of philosophies throughout America and different races. It's the melting pot. And his deadly wound was healed. And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. The beast is the doctrine of sin. All the world wondered after America. They influenced by America, because of that's how they base their kingdoms. All the world right now is wondering after the ways of America, Babylon the Great, because of the empire that it became to rulership. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. So they worship the dragon. They worship the dragon, the so-called white man. They hearken into the ways of him, the desire of sin. It was fully set in man, because the Lord shall rise, for darkness shall cover the face of the world, but light shall shine upon thee. That's Isaiah 60. So basically, and they worship the dragon. The dragon is the white race, the white man, the so-called white Caucasian European man. And they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the dragon which gave power or rulership unto the beast. They worship him. They did like according to his word, which is what? His word is desire of sin. The Lord said, the serpent, your ways shall be down low, all things low down, like sin, which is abomination, all filthy things. The Lord said, since you have done this, you shall wander upon thy belly, which is your understanding. Your belly is talking about your mind. So low down things. And they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast. And they worship the beast. People in the earth doing according to the beast, the doctrine of sin, through our rulerships and through our places in the earth. Minor rulership, rich men, poor men, bondmen, free. That's what's going to get to the rich man, poor man, small person, and we going, because the house of David going to rule. But it's going to get to, I'm going to get to the mark of the beast. I'm going over all Revelation 13. And they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. The dragon is the so-called white race which gave power, rulership unto the beast, the doctrine of sin, which is one of the doctrines of the beast is legalizing gay sex, homosexuality. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Right, that's what these nations in the earth saying right now. But they in the spirit of war though. But who is like unto a beast? Who is like unto the sin, the doctrine of sin? And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Right, so that's the pride. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. The Lord said, thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. That's what's going to be your fall. And so who was able to make war with the beast, the doctrine of sin? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, like God blessed America. That's a blasphemous word to say God blessed the place that he cursed. He said, therefore the curse has devoured the world, because they changed the everlasting covenant and broke God's laws. The covenant of the on Sunday they say it's the Sabbath. That's not the Sabbath day. The Sabbath day is declared by the new moon. That's another doctrine of sin. That sun worship is according to the holy Sabbath, which is an abomination by the white race, the so-called white man, who was the beast and the dragon. Who was the dragon and the serpent. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Right, a rulership was given unto him that he should continue in this wickedness and promoting doctrines, legalizing doctrines, setting up doctrines of sin, whoremongering, prostitute bars, gay sex clubs, homosexuality, pornography, signing up to be a prostitute, legalizing gay sex. And it was given them 42 months because that's the amount of time that Israel lost their identity in 350 years. 42 months is talking about the lesson I did on the temple, which is without measure or not, because it's given up to the Gentiles and to continue until 42 months. And 42 months is when we began to guide our knowledge back through Albert Bivens, which is 1969, the knowledge of the Holy Bible, the elect and the apostles. You are partakers of the prophets and apostles. So the Lord said it was given him because now we rising up into God's righteousness and not doing according to the doctrine of sin. The doctrine of sin, the doctrine, the beast. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme God, and saying God blessed America when he cursed America, and blaspheme against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell therein in heaven. So he blasphemed the angels, saying they little white babies. Blasphemed them and they naked little white babies, and the angels too. and the Most High and Christ, saying he a white man, which is blasphemy, and it's contrary to what God said. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, right? The Romans made war with the saints. It was given to this doctrine of sin to make war with the saints, because we into righteousness. The saints, the holy saints. So the Romans and the evil, Satan and his angels, his messengers, which was the chief priests, they were satanic messengers. That's why Christ said, "You have your father, the devil." So the messengers, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints. The saints is the sanctification process of the holies, and to overcome them and race, because they overcame the wicked. Though he overcame us by we overcoming them through killing us, the apostles and the disciples that got killed during the time of Christ. Every man, Jesus shall be revealed, and with him, Jesus shall be revealed, and with him, every man that have life. And after that, my son Jesus shall die, and everyone that's with him that have life. Peter and Paul and them died for the rulership, just like Christ. Yahushua, the rule, the heavenly, the rule, the world in righteousness. And it was given to him to make power, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, right? And this rulership is given to over all kingdoms. The beast, the doctrine of sin, is throughout all the world. That's what the Lord said, Isaiah 60. This Isaiah 60. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. So the Lord, right, he said kindreds, and it was given to him to make war with the saints, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. That's why it say nations right there, and all type of people. That's why it's going to go into that in Revelations 16. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life, which is all that's of Israel. All the world of Israel shall do according to sin, the beast doctrine, save that's written in the book of life, and all men that have life. It's Ezra's. That's what I was just saying. Ezra's. This is Ezra's. Ezra's 7 and 28. 6 and 20. Shalakia. 7 and 28. For my son Jesus shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. After these years shall my son the Christ die, and all men that have life. Right? So they're gonna worship him that's not written in the book of life, which is God's Bible. From the foundation of the world, right? From the creation of the world, which was the first when the earth was being created. If any man have an ear, let him hear. So if any man have an ear, you got 2 ears. So it's talking about your understanding. The Lord said, eyes haven't they, but they see not. Ears haven't they, but they hear not. At least they convert with their eyes. Turn and convert. So if any man have an ear, if any man have understanding of God's laws, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Right? If the blind lead, this time out the chief priest leading people about going astray. The Lord said, what? If the blind lead the blind, how should they both gonna fall into the ditch? So he that leadeth into the blind, he that leadeth in blind, and he that leadeth the people that's blind to that's he blind. They both the Lord said, well, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Right? If the blind lead the blind, they both gonna fall into a ditch. That's what it's talking about. He that killeth with the sword, he that killed by the holy sword, the Bible said, this scripture should be cut your inward parts. So this is a sword. The Lord said, what? A representation of the holy scripture, the holy Bible. So the Lord said, he that killed man's life and get them killed by the Most High, promoting wickedness, but being like you a chief priest and you a righteous Sadducee or Pharisee, He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So he gonna be killed with the sword by the God's judgment. The Lord gonna kill the bad amongst the good, according to the wheat and the chaff. Carry the wheat, the good, and the chaff you throw it away into quenchable fire. He lead it right. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. That's what the saints patiently waiting for there no more be the chief priests, the wicked chief priests, but the holy apostles was ruling to rule the kingdom. That's why Peter said, "Is you gonna restore the kingdom to us?" Because he was ready to take out the Romans. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, right? The loyalty of the saints, of those that sanctify themselves through Jesus the Christ. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, another beast. This beast is the doctrine of sin still, which is the doctrine of sin. And he had two horns like a lamb, right? So he had a horn, which is strength, like a lamb. And a lamb, because he put on all white, like he innocent and humble, like a lamb to the slaughter. That's what it means, like a lamb to the slaughter. Like a lamb to the slaughter. So the chief priest, so the so-called white man, these two horns is talking about Christianity and Catholicism. And I beheld another beast, the doctrine of sin, coming out of the earth, coming up out of the earth, coming out the ways of the world. This is the ways of the world. The earth is the world. And had two horns. Two horns is Christianity and Catholic, like a lamb. And is like it put on the innocent garment, but it's a wolf in sheep clothing and lamb's clothing. And he spake as a dragon, right? He spake as the serpent, the serpent that the white race. He spoke as the white race, the blasphemers. He spoke saying that gay sex is okay, but putting on God's commandments, on the Bible, and then saying gay sex is okay, which is against God's laws. That's a wolf in sheep clothing. And he spake as a dragon, a devil, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, right? So that beast, that the doctrine of sin, he do all the things of the doctrine of sin, just like the other doctrine, which was just for the first beast. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused it the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, right? To worship at the Roman way. After the gay, homosexual, wicked way, the Lord said, and great heat fell upon the seed of the beast, and they blasphemed and gnawed their tongue for pains, because they were still having gay sex in Rome after they caught diseases, and they was burning when they pissed, because they had diseases from doing gay sex, the so-called white race. So they in the earth doing gays, transgenders after the ways of America. Throughout China, throughout different places in the world that the Lord set up to do like the image. The Lord said he will have desire to commit whoredom with China. They desire to commit whoredom with China. And so the Lord said what? And he doeth great wonders. What's those wonders? Those wonders is Christianity and Catholicism. So that he make it fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man, right? He make energy come forth from this doctrine of sin, because the Lord said the multitude, the glory and the pomp of it shall be cut off. The lake, the false prophet, the false prophet, which is Catholic, is false prophecy, and Christianity is false prophecy. And he do a great wonder so that he make it, and he caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders. The wonders is the doctrine of Christianity and Catholic, so that he make it fire come down from heaven, right? Energy in the sight of man to be produced forth, the glory, the pomp, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. The sight of the beast is the doctrine of sin. And deceiveth them that dwell upon the earth by the means, right? He deceived them to gather them on every side. They fight for gay sex. That's not the way of life. The so-called white race set up to be destroyed. All nations, the Lord says, fury upon all their armies, because they're going to fight for gay sex, transgender, cross-dressing, sodomites. murdering, and deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of beasts, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. The image of the beast is the construct of Rome, the setup of sin. How the Edomites came out, the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia, from the Greeks to the Romans and to America and NATO. So it's talking about the beast that they worship is the doctrine of sin. He go on all ways of low down nature, which is sin, the condemned, the least sin, that they should make an image to the beast, which had a womb by they swore and did live right after Rome ways. Because they got Colosseum parliaments like Rome had, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, right? Speak is talking about your appearance, put on that covering, it speak off you, what come forth from you, your energy, and that's towards gay sex, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? And that's put themselves under the beast. They got to make sure that they under the beast and that they not the top rulership. They made sure that they is and not somebody else breaking off to their branches based on them. That's why Gaddafi got killed and Saddam Hussein, because they was breaking off from something that was based on America being destroyed. And he calls it all is all type of people, both small kids, young kids, the mark of the beast. Small is little kids, and great, old, elders. The Lord said, great men are not always wise. A small one should become a 1,000. So that small is a baby. So, because the Lord said, for with thee I break in pieces the nations. So the mark, the image is the construct of Rome doing sin. The number is the mark of the beast. The mark is the mark of sin. The sting of sin, the lust of sin, the sting of sin is death. So it's death. It's talking about death. And rich is rich lands and poor lands. Third world country and first world country. Free is without a border and boundary, with a border. To receive a mark in their right hand, they took allegiance to the doctrine of sin, or in their foreheads, and or in their understanding, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark of the name of the beast, right? Save he that had the mark. And the name is fitted for destruction. The name is the doctrine of sin, and that's sin. That's the doctrine of sin. So the number is 666, which is fitted for destruction. And the image is the construct of Rome. The number of his name, the number of the name of the beast is 666, fitted for destruction. That celebrities throw up because they fitted for destruction. The doctrine of sin. That's why they don't know why they throwing that up. Really, you throwing up 666 because you in league with Satan and you're gonna be destroyed. Which they think that's a fam thing to do. And then no man might trade. No man have a trading route with America, save he on the plat field, on the field in the world, which is the field is the world. Or the number of his name. Here's the wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, which is man is live 120 years, but our life is going to be God's. We're going to live thousands of years. Days with the most high days. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 which is 666. So that's doctrine. So the image of the beast is the construct and sinful nature of Rome. The number is 666, fitted for destruction, and the image is the number, and his name. The name is the doctrine of sin. The number of his name, the name is the doctrine of sin. Sin, wickedness. Sin is the transgression of God's laws, doing gay sex, homosexuality, promoting transgenderism, promoting death, promoting AIDS. And with that, all praise, honor, and glory. I hope the elect get edified. Shalom.